and the stories yet unfold. Passion ignites like a blazing fire. Knowledge takes us higher, higher. Out of the box where the wild ones play, we see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. The field's alive with endless dreams. We're more than stats, we're the in-between. A slam dunk thought, a touchdown mind. Out of the box every time. No limits, no change, no walls to climb. We're rewriting the rules in real time. Out of the box where the wild ones play, we see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. No limits, no chains, no walls to climb. We're rewriting the rules in real time. Out of the box where the wild ones play, we see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. Every shot's a story, every cheer's a spark. Under the lights we make our mark. Beyond the scoreboard, beyond the lines. Out of the box, redefining the grind. The grind. Out of the box where the wild ones play, we see the game in a whole new way.
Hey, what is going on, everybody? It is a little past midnight, and of course, we'll call this Wednesday morning. It is Out of the Box Monday Night Football Recap. My name is Paul Spencer. That man right there is Eddie Prather. Eddie, how are we feeling? My time, midnight, your time, 9 p.m.
Hey, I'm a little bit tired.
You're a little bit tired. How do you think I feel? It's a little past midnight where I'm at here. But, Eddie, let's get to the game here, man. Listen, we talked about the game coming in here. We didn't know what to look for. You know, Caleb Williams, second year. Ben Johnson, new head coach, basically the OC of the team. Caleb Williams, we seen what he was last year, 17 games. Wasn't really had an inclination of what he could be, what he was. But going in there, J.J. McCarthy, we didn't know what the hell he was. But, Eddie, real quick, let's talk about this first quarter, Eddie. Caleb Williams, I'll tell you what. He turned my head in that first drive, Eddie. I thought, like, oh, my God. Ben Johnson did some magical guru with Caleb Williams in that first drive, Eddie. What did you see?
I was like, when I watched that first drive, I was like, oh, boy, maybe Caleb learned something this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, he started out the game, Eddie, in that first quarter, 8 for 8 right away, you know, looking good, used his legs a couple, you know, had a nice run in the first quarter. But there is a difference. I mean, you think about, to me, Eddie, not jumping forward, but this game was 45 minutes Bears, 15 minutes Vikings. That's what I seen tonight, Eddie. The fourth quarter was just controlled by one team, and it was not the Chicago Bears, Eddie, you know. But what did you see in the first quarter? Like, when Caleb Williams drove down there and scored right away, Eddie, were you thinking, like, okay. And, Eddie, the way the Bears defense played in the first quarter, with the backups that they had, I mean, Nahshon Wright, you know, and Eddie, they played some defense. That front seven and the secondary played as well.
I was very impressed with what the Bears defense did in the first half.
Yeah,
with all their backups.
I agree. I mean, you look at, Sewell, the linebacker, he played a hell of a game. And this front's four, Eddie. I tell you what, they got some pressure. Montez Sweat looked good as well. Like, he looked like he was, a couple years lighter in the age-wise because he played a hell of a game. And I'll tell you what, really, you think about it, even Tyreek Stevenson played a little bit. But, Eddie, are we giving too much credit to the Bears secondary? Because J.J. McCarthy looked completely lost in that first quarter, Eddie. Completely lost.
Plus, Minnesota, O'Connell was calling a very conservative play calling in that first half, too.
He was. He was. I mean, there was some, they didn't look downfield because I was saying to myself, like, my God, Justin Jefferson's getting pissed off here. He's not getting any looks out there. In that first quarter, he was like an invisible man out there, Eddie. And I agree with you 100%. He was calling a conservative game, but we did say that, Eddie, where you have a new quarterback in your first year coming off an ACL injury. What better way to come into the game and just get him wet a little bit? Get him wet, get him time in there, let him learn the feeling of the game. But I'm just surprised that it took 3 quarters for JJ McCarthy to feel how cold the water was until it started heating up.
He got on fire after that pick six. He could have just given up after that, but and O'Connell could have easily lost confidence. But no, he let him throw the ball still.
Yeah, and the funny thing is when he threw that pick six, they panned into the bench and they showed Carson Wentz like, okay, is Carson Wentz going to come in? But I give O'Donnell so much credit because he didn't abandon the young kid. That would have demolished him right there at a game one. Your first game as a pro, you take him after a bad pick six and you bench him. That to me would just isolate the kid down into a hole where he can't climb out. I'm glad that O'Donnell stayed with them because it took 3 quarters, Eddie, but it was the right decision. But man, what do you think it was, Eddie? I mean, there was some bad throws by McCarthy. A lot of them were off target, and he really. The thing is, Eddie, in the first quarter, he had 3 batted balls down. What is it, Eddie? Why? I mean, the one he looked right at the receiver, and Montez Sweat, batted it down. Why do you think there's so many batted balls down with JJ McCarthy?
First game jitters.
That is true. That is true. And the thing was, the linebacker of the defensive was not in his face. He stood home, and it was we teach defensive players, if you can't get to the quarterback, you raise your arms up as high as you can. And to me, that's what it was. But in the first quarter, Eddie, I give so much credit to the Bears defense. I mean, we talked about it. That switched my mind when I see the inactives, Eddie. So I went with the Bears, just because the defense was out. But man, I thought I was a genius in the first quarter because the Bears looked extremely good in the first quarter.
How much do you give for the Bears to have that halftime lead? Do you give the defense more credit than the offense? Besides that one, the first drive, the Bears offense didn't do that much in the first half.
What for the Bears side of the ball, offense or defense? Who do I give more credit to? Honestly, I give more credit to the defense, Eddie. I mean, you only put up basically 7 points total. The first drive. I mean, then you got a field goal out of it. But to me, I got to go defense because the defense really stepped up. I mean, they confused, even though McCarthy had a vanilla, conservative first quarter, first half. The Bears defense stepped up, Eddie. I mean, regardless of if you didn't get the ball to, Justin Jefferson and players like that, even Naylor Hawkinson, they were obsolete in the first half. So I got to give the credit to the Bears defense, pressure wise, fundamental scheme, and anytime that you can do that, I think that's a win, honestly. And that's not taken away from the Bears offense, Eddie. They did move the ball a little bit, but it wasn't, nothing special. It was just the first drive, and that was it.
The second half was the complete opposite, where it was the Vikings defense that came to play.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, Eddie, jumping to the third quarter here, of course, it was a little bit of the same thing in the third quarter where finally, the Bears still had a couple moves on the ball there. McCarthy's shown a couple good passes, of course. Nice. There was a couple drop balls, but the one thing that scared me from the Vikings offense, there was no running game. Aaron Jones got outplayed by Jordan Mason tonight. He did, Eddie. Mason had 15 carries, 68 yards. Aaron Jones only had 8 carries for 23. McCarthy had 2 carries for 25. What happened with Aaron Jones? What did you see?
It just looked like the little sluggers out there. The first 3 quarters.
Yeah, the 3 quarters he looked kind of sluggish. All his really yards were in the fourth quarter when they started using him. But going forward, you talked about that pick. McCarthy throws that pick, and the worst thing, I coach offense up here, and as soon as I see that ball, he eyed down that wide receiver even before he made his cut. It was like he knew where he was throwing, and I tell you what, it had to be a bad throw because a read call. Because if Nashawn Wright picks you off and takes it to the house, you messed up bad. You know what I mean? That was bad.
out of all the defensive backs in the NFL, it had to be him.
Yeah,
Him.
yeah. Yeah, I'm watching the game. I'm like, oh man, that's a good read. That's a good jump ball that I'm looking at. I'm like, oh my God, that's Nashawn Wright. A person that couldn't find the field for the Dallas Cowboys. As a third round pick for us. But it, at that point, Eddie, that's when we talked about JJ McCarthy being benched. Because Troy Aikman even said it, Eddie. And later on in the fourth quarter, we're not jumping forward, but even Troy Aikman said it. You know, I'm glad that JJ McCarthy is going up the offensive line, talking to him, saying we're okay, because he said as a quarterback, you don't want to see down faces from your offensive lineman because they don't believe in you. Number one, now after that pick six, but I give the kid a lot of credit, Eddie, because man, as a rookie, you throw that pick six and you only have 90 yards total in the first half. My offense is looking at you. I have all pro, all world Justin Jefferson down, 5 feet from me, pissed off. You know what I mean? I'm scared. I'm scared daylight's number one.
I was gonna make that point about him being shown on TV talking to offensive linemen there, which he could have just been on the bench soaking, but he's shown the one intangible that made him
Yeah.
a winner at Michigan. He has leadership skills.
Yeah. I mean, coming from, a player that's only 22 years in the league, Eddie, and this is really his second year. At 21 years old, he came into the NFL. At 22, he's starting his first game. And he's won a national champion. He's won high school championships. The pedigree is there. The mindset is there. And, we talk about quarters that are considered winners that play with heart. I tell you what, man, JJ McCarthy has that mold. He is a winner. And you know what? He might not light you up for 400 yards a game, but I tell you what, his IQ will not take you out of a game. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he might not be putting up. He's not going to be the quarterback that's going to put up fantasy points, but
Right.
in real life, he has the IQ in a quarterback in real life football.
Yeah, I mean, you go back and look at the Michigan games. So you had Blake Corum and you had Edwards as well. Two great running backs, not great wide receivers. A great defense at Michigan, and they found ways to win. They hand the ball off, control the ball, take what the defense gives you, move the sticks. Constantly. It doesn't matter if you win 7-6, Eddie. You get a win. You get a win tonight. It just showed me so much heart from JJ McCarthy the way he played because that first three quarters, Eddie, I'm like, man, this kid don't have it. I even said in our chat, Eddie, this kid, wow, I don't think this kid has it. But you know what? I'll bite my words after I seen that fourth quarter because he started, seeing the light. But Eddie, going to the fourth quarter, I got to say one thing. I got to give Flores so much credit, Eddie. He finally said, you know what? I know how to beat Caleb Williams. What do? You bring that 5 down lineman, the extra rusher, and Eddie, he looked like a deer in headlights, man.
You blitz Caleb Williams, he'll fold he'll fold.
Yeah. I mean, you could definitely tell, Eddie, that first quarter, second quarter, third quarter started changing a little bit. But in that fourth quarter, man, the one where I got to go back. That one where Caleb Williams is scrambling out of the pocket and he drops down and he throws the ball, intentional grounding. You know what? You got to learn before that to throw the ball away beyond the sticks, Eddie. That cost you 15 yards and 3 points right there. You took yourself out of position, Eddie. Number one.
That just keeps on proving my point about his low IQ, football IQ.
Yeah, and the thing was too. I mean, after in the first quarter, we seen him run that ball in the end zone. I mean, he lowered the helmet. You know what I mean? I was like, wow, this kid, okay, is good. But there was some bonehead runs, Eddie, that with him climbing the pocket is one thing when the lanes are there. That's one thing. But when you're scrambling to the outside and you don't see, anyone open and you're trying to avoid a sack and you go backtrack backwards, throw the ball away. Save the down, throw the ball away. Just don't, because I'm looking at it. He had minus 27 yards tonight on bad reads, Eddie. Bad reads. 3, not sacks. Well, I'm sorry, 2 sacks on him, but minus 27 yards plus the 15-yard penalty for intentional grounding. That's 42 yards. That's half a field, Eddie. That could be 3 points.
Yeah, and And
I
then
mean,
the other thing that probably bit him in the butt is not going for the field goal was 2:22 what, and
yeah.
when
Let,
you only have
let's
one timeout left.
exactly hold on to that thought. I want to talk about the fourth quarter here. Down 21 points, man. Who gets more credit on this, Eddie? The DC or the OC for the Minnesota Vikings?
I think you have to split the credit. The defense set it up. Got, what was it? 5 straight 3-and-outs there that they
Yeah,
cut.
I'm looking at now 6 straight 3-and-outs by the Vikings defense in that fourth quarter, basically going into the third, into the fourth quarter. That's all Flores when he had that blitz. But to me, that defense was gassed. You know what I mean? The offense, Minnesota's offense was finding rhythm. They were finding downfield. They were using, Jordan Mason a lot in that fourth quarter. He was really their bell cow. Justin Jefferson, had one rush for 4, but Justin had 3 catches in the fourth quarter. One earlier was a touchdown there in the fourth, but they finally started using the wide receivers, and there really wasn't chunk plays, Eddie. I mean, they had nice 2-1s for 27 and 28, but everything else was under 20 yards. And Minnesota, we know they're a high-powered offense. They like to throw the ball downfield. But I give a 50-50 split, just like you said, Flores and O'Donnell, they called one hell of a game in the fourth quarter because, like I said earlier, it was 45 minutes, Chicago Bears, 15 minutes, Minnesota Vikings. And the last 15 minutes won the game, Eddie.
I think it was more like 30 minutes. 40. Let's see. 40 minutes for the Bears.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
The last 5 minutes of the third, that's when the Vikings defense was rolling.
Yeah, you're 100% right. But I'm going to go some of the stats here real quick, Eddie. I want to go to the Bears first. So let's talk about the Bears. Now, Caleb Williams didn't have. I mean, you look at his numbers, Eddie. It's not bad. Okay, it's not arguably he's terrible, but 21 for 35, 210, 1 TD. He had 2 sacks listed as 2 for 24. Those minus his net yards at 198. His rushing. Now, Caleb Williams had 6 rushes, 58 yards, 1 TD, the scamper in the end zone in the first quarter. DeAndre Swift, 17 carries, 53 yards, no touchdowns. DJ Moore, 3 carries, 8 yards. Now, did you expect a little bit more from this Bears running game? I mean, we talked about DeAndre Swift, not being the guy, but you really only have one running back on this roster, and that's DeAndre Swift.
You never, like I have said before, that DeAndre is very inconsistent. That you never know what you're going to get out of him.
Yeah. And let's talk about the wide receivers here. Roman Dunzier, 6 catches for 37. DJ Moore, 3 catches for 68. Zach Kiedis, 4 catches for 42. Rome had the 1 touchdown. Cole Kmet had a nice catch, 1 for 31. Swift had 3 out of the backfield for 12. And Burden, this is where it gets me, Eddie. Your prized possession off field, your trade, not lottery pick, but I just want to say, NFL draft pick, Luther Burden, 1 catch on a bubble screen, -3, Eddie. I don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't. Why? You went out and got this guy for a reason, and to help out wide receivers, and one look for 3 yards. Can you explain that?
No, I can't.
Me either. I mean, I just don't get it. Now, the one hit, I want to ask you real quick, because we're in the fourth quarter here. That hit on DJ Moore, what'd you think about that hit?
Loved it. It was a good old-fashioned hit.
The ref looked at it. There was 2 flags on the play. The pass interference there, the unsportsmanlike conduct they hit, not targeting. They didn't call it targeting. But the hit on Caleb Williams was roughing the pattern. Either way, it's a 15-yard penalty. But when I go back and watch that hit on DJ Moore, I thought that was old school, just like you said, Eddie. You know what I mean? Like, he went in, he lowered his shoulder, hit him with contact here. DJ Moore went down with his head. He created the contact with the helmet to helmet. You know what I mean? He created it. It wasn't the defender, Eddie.
To me, there's a lot of helmet to helmets that are not because of the defensive back. It's because the receiver or the running back lowers themselves.
Exactly. After the catch, their elevation is not going up. They're declining in elevation. They go down. And what is a defender supposed to do? compensate for how fast he's going to drop. No, he came in, with the shoulder. He led with the shoulder. It was created by DJ Moore. I'm just glad he got up because it was a nice hit. The ball was jarred loose, but sometimes I just don't get it, Eddie. But I want you mentioned it earlier, Eddie. You're down 2 scores, Eddie. Okay, you have one timeout with 2:18 left in the fourth quarter here. I coach, Eddie. I always put my position, like if I'm watching a game. Okay, Paul, what are you going to do at this point? I know my timeouts. I know what I have. I know the score. I'm down 2. Eddie, I'm screaming at the damn TV loud as I can. I'm surprised the cops didn't come. I'm screaming at 2:18 after that hit on DJ Moore. Your first down at what, the 24-yard line, Eddie? Okay, at that point, 2:18 left, one timeout. Kick the field goal, get the 3 points. Okay, now that takes 3 seconds off the clock on the field goal, Eddie. Now you're down to 2:15. You're on the kickoff. Either you kick it to the end zone, play stops right there. The guy was very smart for the Vikings. He ran the ball out. Eddie, you're not going to run for 15 seconds. You know what I mean? You're going to get him within, say, 8 seconds tops. Eddie, you're at 2:08. That's one timeout on a dead ball you didn't have to use. 2-minute warning, that's your timeout. Eddie, you only have to run third and fourth down. Very simple. 40 seconds and 40 seconds, Eddie. I'm not a genius, but it's a minute and 20 seconds. You're still walking away with almost a minute to play, Eddie. Not 15, not what, 12 seconds on the clock? Stupidity.
Horrible clock management by Ben Johnson there.
Well, let me ask you this, Eddie. We talked about some coaches could be the greatest DCs, some can be the greatest OCs, for a team. Is this a thing where, being from us, Eddie, we know McCarthy's a veteran quarterback, Mike McCarthy, I'm sorry, coach, but I'm not going to use, that's a bad example, even though his time management sucks. But is this a case where you're a new head coach when you've never been a head coach in the NFL? Now you're worrying about 3 phases of the game: special teams, offense, defense, and now you have to worry about time management. Is this a thing where it got a little bit above him, Eddie? Because Ben Johnson is an OC, is a genius, a good head coach. I think I'm just a person that talks sports. That's it. I would have called kick the field goal, Eddie. I would have done that.
To me, the most important thing for a head coach is to be a clock manager. You don't have to be a great X and O guy. Jimmy Johnson wasn't an X and O guy. He had his offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator to do that.
Exactly. And, Troy Aikman didn't, he was even saying the same thing. He's like, you're down 2 scores, kick the field goal here. You're not going to lose 18 seconds as you're not calling, going for the extra play there, especially the one going down to the 1-yard line when Caleb got down to the 1. That next play, Eddie, the pass, even though it was a pass, that took you with what? 2:03, 2:02 on the clock. Eddie, you lost so much time. Kick the field goal. You still have 18 seconds or 3 seconds on the kickoff, the field goal. You're at 2:15, Eddie. Then kick the kickoff. Regardless if it goes in the end zone as a touchback, you have 15 seconds above the 2-minute warning. He didn't do that. He let it go at 2:02, Eddie. 2:02. And I tell you what, I love how he ran. I forgot who it was, Eddie. The Minnesota Vikings guy ran the ball out. And the coolest thing was they panned on the sideline after the play, and all you can see was O'Donnell looking to him, and the receiver looked at O'Donnell as he was running out. Do I run it out? Do I run it out? And you can see O'Donnell like, come on, you're smart. Let's go. Get it out of here. Let's get it. Let's run the clock out. That was a genius move to me. O'Donnell, I want to say he knows his management time. And I tell you what, the other Ben Johnson, he needs to understand a little bit more about time management in the NFL as a head coach, Eddie.
Do you think on the sideline that O'Connell told the returner, look at me to see it?
You know what? I think he did, because they glimpsed in on that, Eddie. Like, he got the ball in the end zone. He caught it. He could clearly see, like, I'm looking at, he was like this. And he stopped for a second. And you can see O'Donnell like, let's go, let's go, let's go. I think it was planned, Eddie. I really do. Because you always, during the sideline timeouts, and that was a TV timeout, I'm telling my players, okay, look, here's what we need. This is what we need to do. Third down, we don't have any timeouts. Get outside, get on the sticks outside, go out bounds, whatever. Passes always go to the outside. I definitely think O'Donnell was smart enough to say, look at me, find me, find me. I really do. But What would you have done, Eddie? Would you kick the field goal?
How would I kick the field goal as it before it got down to even 218? I probably would have kicked the field goal at 230.
Okay, so you would have kicked it. Okay, now before that hit on DJ Moore, well, we're not going to call the DJ Moore hit because they've lifted that flag and they called the roughing the passer. Either way, it would have been a flag. They said either one they would have called, but they chose to lift the hit on DJ Moore. Now before that, Eddie, you would have been at the they were at the 23-yard line, so 15:38. So you right there at that point, that 230 something, you would have 234, I think it was. I'm looking at it now. You would have went for a 48-yard field goal.
Oh, okay, it was that far. I didn't realize it was.
Yeah, before, remember that was the play before DJ Moore got hit. They lifted the flag and got Caleb Williams for roughing the passer. So they were down to the 23. So if you add the 15 backing off that, they were at the 48-yard line. So 38-yard line. So that would have been a 48-yard kick.
There's probably only two kickers in the NFL I would trust to make that field goal. Chris Boswell of the Steelers, and you know who I'm going to name.
Oh, of
the
course.
Dallas Cowboy MVP, Brandon Aubrey.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing was, too, Santos missed one, too, earlier. You know what I mean? He missed one earlier, Eddie. So I don't know if I would have gone for that. I would probably, at that point, I would have ran one more play. You know what I mean? Try to get me at least 10 yards. Nothing, not a dagger to get to the end zone. I'm going to get 10 yards to get me in position, get up there. And if me, Eddie, I'm calling my play, get up to the line, go fast. And the one thing I noticed about Caleb Williams, Eddie, you're in a high, fast offense, or running gun offense here, a 2-minute warning. Eddie, he takes so much time at the line of scrimmage calling plays. I don't get it with him. My 13-year-old kids, when I coach, Eddie, one word calls a play. To him, it's like you call the play. He knows what you're calling from Ben Johnson. He gets up to the line, like check and check and check and check, and like just line up and let's go. You waste so much time. And that's the entire game, too.
Caleb did the same thing last year against Detroit, and it cost the Bears that game against the Bears.
Yeah. That's the one thing with him I don't understand. I mean, Ben Johnson is a guy that teaches you, learn from it. But I make that fall on Ben Johnson, the QB coach, as well, because you practice this, Eddie. You practice this, a 2-minute warning. You practice all this. But then again, it falls on Ben Johnson, too, for not making – we don't know if he would have made the kick. We don't know how it pans out. But Eddie, as a fan that watches the game just like you and I coach, I would have kicked the damn field goal. You're down still 7 points. Either way, you got to score you got to score twice, right? Might as well get the faster one out and leave yourself with more time. And a timeout and a 2-minute warning. And Eddie, that was 2:13. You run a play, you call timeout, you got a 2-minute warning. You're going to walk away with almost a minute to play, Eddie. A minute to play. Amazing.
Amazing. That's a lot more than 12 seconds, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then the funny thing is, what in the hell did they try running with DJ Moore in motion, a pass to DJ Moore as he comes across the middle? What was that? Did you see that play? I didn't get it.
I thought the clock hit 0 before the ball was snapped there.
Yeah, well, they call it a legal shift. That's the thing. Because DJ Moore went in motion, and Caleb Williams, they called it on him because DJ Moore's coming in motion. He's the motion guy. He has to set before another guy comes in motion. The tight end moves out. So I don't know if it was a busted play or not, but I'm just like curious of why they called a snap. Was it a wrong snap where DJ Moore's supposed to go all the way through the other side of the line of scrimmage? The tight end comes out, he sets out because they snapped the ball, and it actually they showed it grazed DJ Moore. So I don't know what the hell that play was. And then you run I don't even know what the hell they ran, a 10-yard out, and then what was the game? What was the game with where people ran on the field? Stanford game, wasn't it, Eddie? Back in college?
Yeah.
That's what they tried doing, but Eddie, how do you think this? What do you think about both teams? What do you see from the Chicago Bears moving forward?
They made a lot of time critical mistakes in the fourth quarter.
Who do you blame on that?
Have to split it between the coach and the quarterback.
I agree with that. How do you agree? How do you think their defense played? Because it was a tale of, just like you said, 40 versus 60, Eddie. That 20 minutes was definitely won. I'm going to say 25, 30 minutes was won by the Vikings, late and from the third quarter on, middle third. But the Bears, Eddie, what the hell happened to the Bears defense? That's what I want to ask you. What the hell happened to the Bears defense in the last quarter, giving up 21 points?
They looked like they were completely worn out.
That's what the word I want to say. They were gassed, Eddie. They were gassed. That's the problem. The first quarter, 91 yards from the Vikings, 180 for the Bears total offense. The Bears defense was gassed in that fourth quarter. I mean, the one play where Nashawn Wright, he came off the field after Justin Jefferson burned him for like 27 yards. I said to myself, this dude ain't hurting. He's gassed. He's gassed. And then 3 plays later, he comes back in, Eddie. He wasn't hurt. He was gassed. That's the problem. That's what happened to the Bears defense.
That's what happened when your quarterback goes 6 straight 3-and-outs there.
That's the thing. You think about that. 18 plays, that's all you're getting on offense, and 6 straight drives, Eddie. That's bad. I mean, you think that you can solidly win this game. You're up, but a 21-point swing, Eddie, 21-3, basically is what we've really seen if you think about it. I mean, 21-point swing, Eddie. That's amazing. Amazing. What did you see from the Vikings? What happens now when they move forward?
They showed heart, especially the quarterback. The quarterback could have, like I said earlier, the quarterback could have just given up after that pick six. The rest of the team could have given up on him, but they didn't. And
yeah, I agree. And that locker room, the first 3 quarters, Eddie, I said earlier, those offensive linemen like, oh, this dude, man, we took a first-round pick on this. We gave away Sam Darnold for this clown, but I tell you what, in the locker room, they better pay a lot of respect to this kid because the kid did not quit. Just like you said, he did not fold. He showed you what he was. And even if they would have came up short, the way he played in that fourth quarter, as a head coach, I'm looking at him saying, I made the right decision. He might not be the best quarterback in the NFL, might never be, but man, this kid's got a lot of heart too. I know one thing. We're close. We got a chance to win this game. I give so much credit to J.J. McCarthy. I didn't think he would be this good, Eddie. He wasn't great tonight, but Eddie, he showed me something that this kid has what it takes to be something in the NFL. He really does.
He's what we call moxie. McCarthy has lots of moxie.
He has the moxie. I'll tell you, for a 22-year-old kid, Eddie, a 22-year-old kid to show what he showed tonight. I mean, I don't want to say he put the team on his back because the defense, man, they helped out. It was like a 3-legged race, Eddie, the defense and, J.J. McCarthy. But the kid showed me something tonight, Eddie. I'll tell you that, But I just couldn't believe how they played in the fourth quarter, But, Eddie, before we get out of here, man, now, Thursday night, we have a game as well on Thursday night. What do you think about this Thursday game real quick, Eddie? I'm just going to put this banner up here real quick. The Packers versus the Commanders. What do you think about that game, Eddie? How do you look at that game early?
Holy crap. We're getting 2 very good Thursday night games back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, 100%. I mean, that Thursday night game that we seen last week for our team, the Eagles escaped, let's put it that way, because CeeDee's, CeeDee had concrete hands on 3 of the 4 catches that he should have made. Last one was a little bit different, but cost us 7 points easy, at least a 3-point to tie the game. But this game here, Eddie, Washington, man, they really didn't miss a beat to me, but they didn't look invincible. The Packers, still a little bit desired too, Eddie. I mean, this game is going to really be a measuring stick for me too. Where are you leaning toward this game early?
I think Green Bay defense was the big reason why they beat Detroit.
Yeah,
the offense was okay, but not great.
Agree 100% too. 100%. Early, I think I'm going to take the Packers because the defense is a little bit better. The Commanders can move the ball. I mean, but I'm not sold really on their running game. The Packers, if they shut down that running game, you're gonna look at Jaden Daniels. And the thing that gets me is they're making Jaden Daniels still run the ball at 150 pounds wet, Eddie. I don't want to see my quarterback running. I can see him getting laid out by one of these corners coming in on a blitz, a linebacker, with your head's not on a swivel, he could get you. But it all comes down to that running game for Washington. If they can get some running game going, I think they could win the game. But the Packers front seven, I love the front seven for the Packers, not just because Parsons, but I think they get to the quarterback. They can stop the run. I like the Packers early, Eddie. I like them.
Washington needs to be more picky when Daniels runs, kind of like the Vikings. The Vikings did not let McCarthy run until the touchdown run.
Exactly, and that's the thing too. I mean, the Packers have the defense to run a spy on them. JJ McCarthy didn't have to. I hope. I hope LaFleur watches the Dallas Cowboy game, because Jay Daniels is not Jalen Hurts physical wise, strength wise, but he's faster. And I hope that he watched our game and says, wow, running quarterback, I definitely need to use a spy and not wait to the fourth quarter, basically, especially on that last play of the game where Hurts was just running the ball by himself, no spy at all. So I think Green Bay better use a spy out there on Jaden Daniels, because if you take away him, that takes away a lot of the offense as well on the ground. But hey, before we get out of here, I do want to say our sponsor, Jason Fine, 1-800-HURT-123, attorney Jason Fine, Big Al. Motor vehicle accident, slip and fall, workman's comp, personal injury claims, 3 convenient locations throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey. First in New Jersey is Cherry Hill. Pennsylvania is Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. Make sure you reach out to Jason Fine, 1-800-HURT-123. Mention Out of the Box Sports Entertainment. You get a family discount. Always no recovery, no fee. And once you mention those magical words, Out of the Box Sports Entertainment, you'll get 33 1/3% guaranteed, no recovery, no fee. Highly unheard of in the law office today. Also, here is our schedule, guys. We have something for everybody. My God, we have it all. Of course, you're watching the Monday Night Football recap at 11:30. Tomorrow night, you have the NFC East War Room. We're going to have the Commanders, Eagles, Giants, and Cowboys. One rep from every team. Eddie, you will be on that show tomorrow night. So make sure you follow us on Out of the Box Sports Entertainment, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. We're everywhere. Make sure you follow us, like, share, subscribe. And here's our banner for tomorrow night, the NFC East War Room. Good old-fashioned trash talking tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eddie, represent us well tomorrow night, brother. I'm going to tell you that.
Who's my victims for tomorrow?
Well, you got Danny from the Giants. You're going to have Norm as the Commanders. And the Eagles, you are actually going to have Joe Sullivan tomorrow night.
I can't pick on Joe too bad. He's a nice guy.
Hey, don't let the kindness fool you, man. He's going to throw his punches at you, so you better punch back. But make sure you follow all of our shows out there. We have something for everybody. The Batcave this week, Silver and Black Raiders. They have a lot to talk about as well Friday. So make sure you check out all of our shows, of course. Tonight was the Sully Squad earlier. Had a great time. Actually, I joined that show. Make sure you check out every show on the network. We appreciate it. We are now back on Twitter at _OOT Box Sports. So make sure you follow that as well. We did have almost about 30,000 followers, but unfortunately our account got hacked. So we are starting over. So we're trying to build that up as well. So Eddie, before we get out of here, man, it is 12:40 my time, 9:40 your time. At least you can stay up a little bit. My old butt has to get to sleep because I got to get up at 6 a.m. in the morning. But what's your thoughts on this game, Eddie? What was your final thoughts on this game?
It was entertaining. I was entertained.
It was. I mean, it was a measuring stick of tonight, Eddie. We went into this game as unknown. You know what I mean? What is J.J. McCarthy? Has Caleb Williams learned anything? How does Ben Johnson, adapt as being a head coach? O'Donnell, we know what he is, a veteran. We talked about him being a great head coach. But I think tonight we learned a little bit. How to beat Caleb Williams. You blitz number one. You put the 5 guys up front. You have an extra blitzer. You have 9 guys up front. Not 7 in the box. You put 9. You don't have to rush 9. JJ McCarthy, I learned one thing. I'm not going to knock this kid. That 22 years old. This kid has a heart of a lion. I'll tell you that, Eddie. It looks good. I'm not going to say they're a playoff contender, Super Bowl contender, but I'll tell you what. The kid has that one word you use. He has some mojo. I'll tell you that. So, Eddie, it is late, man. You ready to get out of here?
Yep.
All right. You can join the Thursday night recap as well. Make sure you do check that out. That is going to be the Thursday night preview at 7:30, and also the recap. The recap will probably push off till 12 o'clock. The game Tonight's game didn't end till 11:30, so we'll go 30 minutes after there. So make sure you follow, our page there. We'll tell you exactly what time we're on. Also, I do want to say one thing really quick. This show will be back Saturday. It is the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. It's going to be a little bit late, of course, on that Saturday night. Make sure you tune in because they do have a big game against Texas A&M on ABC at 8 o'clock prime time again. So you make sure you please check that out. My Notre Dame Fighting Irish are coming off a huge loss against Miami, but that's done and over with, Eddie. We don't have to talk about that anymore. It's over now, But Eddie, what's that?
Hope there's a repeat from last year's game with Texas A&M.
Hey, we got them week 1 last year, Eddie. So this year, I'm hoping that this is real. The crazy thing is Notre Dame has 2 byes, Eddie, in the season already. First week, second week, we already have a bye. And I think that's good because you come off an emotional loss at Miami. Now, you're on a bye, then you go to Texas A&M. A&M comes to us in South Bend. So I like the bye in between the hardest 2 games of our season. I kind of like that. You know what I mean? I do. So you ready to get out here, Eddie?
Yep.
All right. My name is Paul Spencer. That is Eddie Prather. This is the Out of Box Sports Entertainment Network, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. And this is the Monday Night Football recap. Once again, the Minnesota Vikings 27, the Chicago Bears 24. And we will see you Thursday night, talking Thursday Night Football, the Giants and the Commanders. Until then, have a great night, everybody.
Game on, gang strong, let's break the mold. Chasing the stories yet untold. Passion ignites like a blazing fire. Knowledge takes us higher, higher. Out of the box where the wild ones play. We see the game in a whole new way. Living loud, hearts in motion. Sports with soul, pure devotion. The field's alive with endless dreams. We're more than stats, we're the in-between. A slam dunk thought, a touchdown mind. Out of the box every time.